Shalom. Welcome. So, before I get started in today's lecture, what I want to go over is it's regarding some very derogatory comments that I have received, and I would like to make comment on them. And it's from my Jacob video, the video that I did on the angel who wrestled Jacob. I know, hey, it's very controversial subject matter, that a lot of the comments that I have received have been from Christians, no doubt clueless Christians who do not accept the video and pretty much the subject matter. So I want to be clear about this, but before I get started, I do want to mention one thing before I comment on those comments that I received. I was going to do a separate video on it, but I decided not to give these clueless Christians that have nothing better to do but to creep in on your channel, because of course they're searching for something, but they again, they know they've been lied to most of their lives, but this is why they're on your channel searching. So before I get started, I was going to do a separate video, but I didn't want to give them the satisfaction, so I'm just going to be short and to the point. But before I get started on that, I just would like to welcome, I noticed I did pick up some new subscribers. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you are seeking the truth, then welcome, because that's exactly what this channel is for. I am not here I just want to be clear what this channel was created for. This channel I developed, this video channel, was for, it's by a person of Hebrew ancestry, and this is for the children of Jacob, people that are of Hebrew ancestry, and that is of Negro ancestry. Okay, we are the original branch. I want to be clear about that. I get a lot of clueless Christians that are coming into my channel. They have no clue what they're talking about. They don't even know who the children of Israel are. They don't know who the children of Jacob are, who they call Israel, by the way. They think it's these people living in the lands, the land of our ancestors, who are pretending, the identity thieves. So, I mean, look, I'm not going to waste my time arguing with you Christians out here that are clueless and have no clue what's going on around you. If you choose to be clueless, that's on you. Obviously, you're searching. That's why you're on my channel. There's plenty of Christian channels out there that you can subscribe to that will talk about your character that looks like you, running around in a Roman toga that you worship, okay, because you want people to worship you. You can tune into those channels all day long. Talk about Jesus, okay? Your Jesus character, the Jesus scam. This is not that channel, okay? So tune into the Christian channels. Get out of my house, okay? This is not for you. Like I said, my videos are just to tell the truth. Whether you want to accept it or not is up to you. I'm not going to argue with you. You will be blocked when you come into my channel, into my house with your foolishness, okay? I am not about confusion, okay? I will not bring confusion into my house, and I will not allow you to bring confusion into my house, okay? You don't know who that angel is? You can't figure that out? That's on you. But I'm going to ask you two questions that you need to ask yourself, and that's anybody who questions that video. Two questions. Number one, and I didn't even cover this in the video. This should have been common sense, but most people, because we have so many people out there who don't even know what they're reading in terms of the scriptures, they haven't even figured this out. My first question is, why would the angel dislocate his hip? Okay? Who does that? I mean, who breaks some? I mean, who hurts or injures someone in a fight but a sore loser? Would an angel of the Most High do that? Not of the Most High, not of our Father in heaven. There would be no reason for him to injure him. Okay? So that's one thing with the narrative of that story that just doesn't make any sense. Now, you haven't asked yourself that. I mean, I don't know about you, but in a fair fight, someone's going to fight fairly, but in a dirty fight, someone's going to hurt you. They're going to pull, tactics that are not very, very nice, right? So you got to ask yourself that question. Why would he injure his hip, dislocate the man's hip, okay, Jacob's hip? That doesn't make any sense. So you ask yourself that question. Number two, the very important and to me the biggest question of all, that you should ask yourself is, who in their right mind would think that you can struggle, wrestle, fight, okay, whatever you want to call it, the term, fight with the Most High and win in any fight. You understand that He is, hey, our people's creator. Okay, I don't know about you guys, but I'm talking about, these coolest Christians out here, but I'm talking about you are a child of Jacob, okay, or if you are from the offspring of, who they call Adam, okay, that means you're a human. You know that He is our maker. He is our creator. Who thinks they're going to battle with their maker and win? Who in their right mind? Have you, and this goes back to the history of our people. Okay, read or even let's go into the book of Genesis. Read anybody who tried to overthrow His kingdom. What happened to them? Even our people who disobeyed our Father in heaven. Okay, what happened to them? This is understanding history. If history doesn't teach you, you cannot win a battle. You can't win a fight. You can't win when you try to disobey the Most High. What happened? Oh, what about the story of Jonah? What happened to him when he thought he was going to run from the Most High? Okay, and disobey Him. Now, if you don't understand anything about history, then yeah, you're going to accept whatever these freaking people are telling, these Gentiles are telling you. Okay, brothers and sisters. But if you know the history of the scriptures, the ancient records of our people, it tells you something else. There was somebody else who thought he was going to storm the castle. He was going to overthrow our Father in heaven, the Most High. And you know what happened to him, right? You know what happened to him. And the only people who would be dumb enough to believe that they would win a fight, a battle, okay, wrestle with the Most High and win would be who? The children of the father of lies. Okay? So think about that before you sit here and make these comments. Do you really think you can win a battle with the Most High? Look at the history of anyone who has tried and what has happened. Now ask yourself that question. And that's all I'm going to say on that comment. Okay, so moving on, what I'd like to cover in this particular video is going to be about the nations. And I'm so glad that these Gentiles, okay, the clueless Christians, that like to write in to my channel and comment about that, I'm so glad they did write in a sense, and again, I don't pay them any mind. I just block their, foolishness. But it did, kind of, I'm going to be honest with you, it gave way to this video. So it's a good thing because it got me thinking, and then I decided to, talk about this topic. Is one of the things that they tend to say, I hear sometimes about the children, and this is what they teach in Christianity, also about the children of Jacob, the original branch, is that, what happened to the Hebrews, the story of the Hebrews, they screwed up. They were given the laws, they were given the instructions, and they screwed up. So, hey, the Gentiles stepped in, and hey, now we have salvation. It's all about the Gentiles now. And this is what they teach in their Greek Testament, their version they call the New Testament. Okay, now you notice that is the preaching, that is the teaching that you get in Christianity, right? That it's all about the Gentiles and them salvation. And by the way, them finding salvation because our people screwed up. This is the narrative that comes from the Gentile, okay, the white man. Okay, now, why does that not make any sense? If you really understand the truth, now you will understand. This is what I'm going to show to you today. What I'm about to show you, brothers and sisters, is going to completely, okay, everything that they have taught you, the brothers and sisters that are listening to this of Hebrew ancestry, trying to come up out of Christianity and trying to understand the truth, what I'm going to reveal to you and show you, okay? And this understanding doesn't come from me. It comes from my Father in heaven, the Most High. What I'm going to show you is going to put just completely squash everything that you have heard and dismiss all the lies that you have been taught. And if this doesn't wake you up, I don't know what to tell you at this juncture. Okay? Because all I am doing is showing you the truth. Okay? Just so you know, let's be clear. Hey, I didn't write this. Okay? If you got a problem with this, and by the way, the clueless Christians that want to tune in, okay, and your clueless endeavor to seek what you do not understand, if you want to comment on this, don't comment to me. Don't be upset with me. You need to comment on the Christian Council, your people who translated it. The confraternity of Christians that translated the writings of our people, should I say deliberately mistranslated them. And the reason being is because they were hiding, when they came across the writings of our people, when they got a hold of the manuscripts, when they went into our lands, got a hold of the ancient writings of our people, the historical records, they didn't like what they found. Okay, so they decided to hide it and suppress this information. Okay, and then they thought they could flip the script and rewrite history. You can't rewrite what is already written. It's been prophesied. Okay, so the Most High is bringing all this out in the open. He's bringing this forth. So if you got a problem with it, you know what? You need to take it up with your people who wrote, who rather mistranslated the writings of our people. Okay? And by the way, the reason why is because they were never, ever meant to translate the ancient writings of our people. The ancient writings of our people, the historical records, they were only meant for Hebrews, our people, to understand, and for us to teach our children and our people. Not you. It wasn't meant. Everything that you're learning was not meant for you to know. It was just meant for our people. Okay? What you stole, you had no business stealing. Okay? And this is why the Most High is bringing it all. He's lifting the veil. Okay? So let me show you what I'm talking about, brothers and sisters. So if we let's go to Deuteronomy. Now, one thing I find really funny about some of these camps, the reason why I'm showing you, I want to show you this globe here, is why you see this globe. Sorry about the fuzziness. It's just the image itself. It's a little fuzzy. But in the ancient, world, the continent, long time ago, Earth, what we call Earth today, was one continent. Okay, and as you can see, that's what it looked like. If you look at a world map, everything looks pretty much like that. It's like a puzzle, how everything fits together when you see it like this, from this, what they call the Pangea point of view. But what had happened, and this is all stated in the scriptures, is that the earth was divided. They say in the time of, they say like after the time of Noah, the earth got divided. But again, this is a white man's perspective. Okay, so you really can't trust anything they tell you. But one thing we do know for sure, we don't know exactly when, but we do know one thing, that the earth was divided. Okay, now what happened when the earth was divided in respectively to the sons, of Noah, the various nations, which came later on, the nations? What happened is something that no one tends to really talk about. All we know is, okay, the earth got divided, and it was divided among the three sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, or Japheth. So what we need to understand is what really happened, okay? And this is all in the writings of our people that has been suppressed and hidden. But I'm going to show you the truth. Alrighty? So I was just showing you what it looked like before it got divided, and now this is what our world looks like today. But let's talk about that. And how do we know what really happened? So it's in the writings. If we go to the book of the instructions, they call the law, then in Deuteronomy, see, the thing I find really funny about some of these camps out here is that they spend a lot of time in Deuteronomy 28, okay? Because they spend so much time, some of these camps in Deuteronomy 28, a lot of this they kind of overlook, and they have their own narrative on it, which I really don't get into. But if you look very closely, there's a lot in the book of, the instructions, they call the book of the law. So if we go to Deuteronomy chapter 32, I want to read something to you. Now, Moses, okay, one of our ancestors, the prophet Moses, they call Moses, he basically knew what happened in the ancient world. All of our people knew. This was oral history that we passed on from generation to generation. We also recorded it as well. Okay? So, we want to talk about that in this particular chapter. So, if we go to Deuteronomy chapter 32, they call it the Song of Moses, but, this is their narrative, of course. They give these titles, that really, this is, again, their narrative. It's really the historical record of Moses, the account of Moses, and that he was teaching our people. So, the historical account. So, if we look at Deuteronomy 32, and I'm going to go all the way down to let's look at chapter 32, verse 8. It says, well, actually, let's go up to verse 7. So 32:7, it says, Deuteronomy, remember the days of old. Excuse me. So it says, remember the days of old. And let me just show you here so you can follow with me here. I can go over it with me. Sorry about that. So it says, remember the days of old. Consider the years of all generations. Ask your father, and he will inform you. Your elders, and they will tell you. When the Most High gave the nations their inheritance, when he separated the sons of man. Now, the sons of man means the sons of Adam, humans, okay? He set the boundaries of the peoples according to the number of the sons of Israel, okay? For the Most High's portion is his people, Jacob is the allotment of his inheritance. So, another thing that they say in Christianity, and this is another reason why I wanted to do this video, that both Christians and people that practice Judaism has nothing to do with the way of life of our people. That's just another pagan religion that these people pretending to be us in our land practice. They call Judaism, the fake Jews. They're Jews. We're not. We have nothing to do with Jews. We're not Jewish. So I'd rather not even say fake Jew. I'll just say these Jewish people pretending to be us. Because we should not be using the word Jew associated with us, okay? We are not Jews, okay? Let's be clear about that. But these people living in our, homeland, pretending to be us, they also, when our people have confronted them about it, they admit the truth that we are the original branch, okay? Some of their folks admit the truth. They have no problem admitting the truth. They know this, okay? But here's the narrative that they tell you, but they'll say, but he abandoned you. They'll say to our people, he's done with you people. He's through with you. And this is another reason why I wanted to do this video for my people, okay? The original branch, the Hebrews. So, okay, so the Most High, this is their narrative, that he doesn't want to have any, he's done with us, okay? That he doesn't care about his people. And this is why things are going on the way they're going on. But I'm going to prove to you today that that's a lie. And that's why I wanted to do this video. The whole thing gave way to this video. So, okay, so it says, okay, I'm going to read, so let's cover that again. Remember the days of old, consider the years of all generations, ask your father, and he will inform you. Your elders, and they will tell you. So, in other words, this was oral history that got passed down to our people. So, I want to be clear that you understand all this. When the Most High gave the nations their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam, he set the boundaries of the peoples, okay, according to the number of the sons of Israel. For the Most High's portion is his people. Jacob is the allotment of his inheritance. Okay, so we're going to stop right there. Okay, because it says the Most High's portion is his people. So he chose his people. Okay, now let's go and look at this verse. Okay, the verse I want to concentrate on is verse 32:8. Okay, and this is the one when he says, when he separated the sons of Adam, he set the boundaries of the people according to the number of the sons of Israel. So do you know what boundaries are? We know what boundaries are, right? Boundaries are, you can Google, check it out. Again, in their dictionary, when they don't like what something really means, they like to change it. But in a nutshell, boundaries means what? Limits. It means division, partitions, divisions. Okay, he divided the peoples. Okay, so when he set the boundaries of the peoples according to the number of the sons of Israel. Now, that's kind of strange when he said according to the number of the sons of Israel. Why is that strange? Because the sons of Israel, that's a lot of people, right? So, I mean, is there that much land? When he set the boundaries according to the number of the sons of Israel, sons of Jacob, rather not say Israel, they say Israel, I'd rather say Jacob. So that's why I want to focus on that verse. Is that really what it's saying there? Okay, let's find out. So if we go to, let's isolate that verse. If we go to 32:8, okay, and we isolate that verse, chapter 32:8, so you see it right here. Now, what I want to do is, and see it says Deuteronomy 32:8, it says, or Adam. It's talking about the sons of Adam, okay, humans. Let's find out what that verse, like I said, if you really want to understand a translation, you can't look at just one translation. You have to look at several translations, okay? That's the first step in understanding what you're reading, okay? Most people don't understand what they're reading, okay? That's why they have no clue about any of this, okay? The truth of the matter. So let's go to 32:8, and we're going to look at this in all English translations. Look at all the translations of this. So we look at all the translations, okay? KJV and onward. Okay, KJV, the 21st century version says, when the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance, divided to the nations their inheritance. Okay, he's talking about land, right? When he separated the sons of Adam, okay, they call Adam, he set the bounds of the people, okay, limits, borderlines, he set the bounds or boundaries of the people according to the number of the children of Israel. So it sounds pretty much the same thing, right? Okay. Let's read another one here. Let's read this one, this version. So it says, when the Most High gave the nations their inheritance, when he separated the sons of man, okay, he set the boundaries of the peoples according to the number of the sons of Israel. So it sounds like pretty much the same thing. So here it says, let's read this version. When the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance, okay, when he separated the sons of Adam, he set the boundaries of the people according to the number of the children of Israel. So it all pretty much sounds the same. It's saying the same thing, right? Okay. But let's keep going. Okay, let's look at this version. When our Father in heaven, the Most High, divided up the nations, okay, when God the Most High divided up the nations, divided up the nations, when he divided up humankind, okay, because that's what the sons of Adam are, they're humans, humankind. He decided the people's boundaries based on the number of the gods. Whoa, that is a completely different translation from the children of Israel, right? Okay, we know, okay, hold up people, right? Brothers and sisters, we know the children of Israel, okay, we're all human beings, right? Our ancestors are human beings. So where is this translation coming in? It's like, whoa. It's like, uh-oh. Let's see what the Jewish version says. It says, oh, they use the term Elion here. When Elion gave each nation its heritage, when he divided the human race, he assigned the boundaries of peoples according to Israel's, look how they break it apart here, Israel's, now here's what's very curious, Israel's population. Very strange. Okay, I think they're hiding something here. Let's keep going. Ooh, this one. The CEV version says that God Most High gave land to every nation. He assigned a guardian angel to each of them. Now that's their translation. Okay, it's getting more interesting. Okay. Interesting. Let's keep it going. Oh, here's an interesting version, the ERV. God the Most High separated the people on earth and gave each nation its land. He set up borders for all people. Okay, that's boundaries, divisions. He made as many nations as there are angels. Now, we're not getting that is their own. I don't know where they went with that one. Okay, but clearly that's not the same translation as these. Okay, but we're gonna keep it going. Now, here's where it gets very interesting. In the ESV version, it says, "When the Most High gave to the nations their inheritance, when He divided mankind, okay, humankind, He fixed the borders of the people according to the number of the sons of God." Now, here, same thing here in this UK version. Okay, same thing. When the Most High gave the nations their inheritance, when He divided mankind, He fixed the borders of the people according to the number of the sons of God. Now, this version is very interesting. I'm going to read this one. He says, the EXB, God the Most High gave the nations their lands, each nation its inheritance. Okay, same thing what you've heard in the other translations. Divided up the human race. Dividing up the human race. Okay, sons of man or sons of Adam. He set up borders for the people and even numbered the Israelites. Now, He changed it. They changed it here. Numbered the Israelites according to the number of the sons, children of Israel. So they changed this. They changed the verse. They changed it up here. Okay, even the numbered Israelites. So you understand what was happening is, why is this all very strange? Because you see in some of these translations it's saying children of Israel or sons of Israel, and then others are saying the sons of God. Okay. Now, there's a huge difference between children, when you're referring to the children of Jacob, okay, they are saying here the children of Israel, and the sons of God. It doesn't mean the same thing. So that's a huge, like, anomaly. You know, that's a huge anomaly. It doesn't make any sense. So we're going to keep this going. Look at this version. The Most High assigned nations their lands. He determined where people should live. Okay, He assigned to each nation a heavenly being. Heavenly being. Okay, that's an angel. Okay. So now let's keep reading here. Now this one is very, very interesting. The MSG version. It says, when the Most High God gave the nations their stake, gave them their place on earth, He put each of the peoples within boundaries under the care of divine guardians, angels. But our Father in heaven, the Most High Himself, took charge of His people, took Jacob on His personal concern, took Jacob as His personal concern. Okay. Are you getting this, brothers and sisters? If you still don't get this, we want to help you understand. What they have done is, in these translations, they tried to hide who exactly, when the Most High divided, in the ancient world, He divided the lands, okay, among the nations. What He did, okay? They tried to hide all of this in their in this narrative of, okay, He set the boundaries people according to the people of Israel or Jacob. Okay, now, when you look at this version, it says, now, why I think this version is really, I think it's important, is because this version is taken from the Catholic. Remember, there's two different versions of the Bible, okay? They have given you two versions. They give you the Protestant version, and they also give you a Catholic version. Most people don't even know that there's two different versions, okay, of what they call the Bible. I don't call it the so-called Bible because I know what that really means. I call it the Scriptures. But why this is significant is because that translation, the Protestant focuses more on the Masoretic text, which is one translated by the Mizrahites. I call them the Mizrahites, not Masoretes. The fake Jew, the fake people pretending to be us, they call themselves Jews, Jewish, kind of, sort of, but not. Those people that translated the writings, that's where they get a lot of their translations from. You understand? Whereas the Catholic Church, they derive it from both the Hebrew translation, from the writings of our people, because remember, they got the manuscripts, okay? They got a lot of the manuscripts and scrolls locked away. They're either in the Vatican or the British Library or Museum. So they've confiscated a lot of our manuscripts. So they were translating they're Jesuits, and they're Jesuits and they're Freemasons, and the Jesuits from the Catholic Church were translating from the, historical records of our people. And that's why you're getting a very, very different translation. Okay? And what's interesting is you get the same translation that I was showing you here when they say the number, when they talked about the sons of God here in these translations. Okay? That's why you're seeing that translation, because that is the exact translation of it. That is the accurate translation. So I'm going to read this NAB version. Okay? And the NAB version says, when the Most High allotted each nation its heritage, when he separated out human beings, that's why you're getting the actual translation. It's not saying son of man. This is the big difference between son of man and son. That's what they had translated it to, but it was the son of Adam, the son of human beings, okay? When he separated out human beings, that's why they say human beings, because that's what they're referring to. When he separated out human beings, he set up the boundaries of the peoples after the number of the divine beings. So they're telling you exactly what that means, okay? Doesn't mean, big difference between, divine beings and sons of Israel are two different things. You understand that, okay? Do you know what divine beings are? I think you understand that. Now, if you need further clarity on this, okay, let's look at that verse a little bit more in detail. Let's take a look. So if we go to Deuteronomy 32, let's look at that a little bit more. Let's go back to Deuteronomy 32. Now, we're going to look at it in that translation. So if we look at it in that translation, and I'm going to read it from that translation too, that whole verse. So it says, remember the days of old, consider the years of generations past. Ask your father, he will inform you. Your elders, they will tell you. When the Most High allotted each nation its heritage, okay, because he's talking about land, okay. When he separated out human beings, he set up the boundaries of the peoples after the number of the divine beings, okay. There's a footnote there. But the Most High's portion was his people. His allotted share was Jacob. So you understand what happened? Okay, let's give you some clarity here in case you don't quite get this. Okay. We go down here and go down to Deuteronomy. I'm going to go right to that verse 32. I'm sorry, 32:8. Maybe I can find it here. Okay. So we go to 32:8. It says what that means. 32:8, divine beings. So it's to help you understand literally, okay, meaning the sons of God, divine beings. Whereas now the sons of God is mentioned quite a few times. It's not just mentioned in Genesis chapter. Do you remember where the sons of God is mentioned? That term is being mentioned in the scriptures. It is referred in a couple of places. The most, I guess, well-known reference to the sons of God is referred to in Genesis chapter 6, I think it's verse 2 through 4. It's mentioned somewhere in that verse, okay, in those verses rather, the sons of God, okay, when they mated with the daughters. I mean, you know the story. I mean, if you have been checking out some of my other videos on, the fallen angels. But the sons of God is mentioned there, okay. It's also mentioned in the book of Job quite a few times. We're not going to get into all that. But what it's referring to here is divine beings, literally sons of God. So it says members of the divine assembly, okay, it's showing you the times it was mentioned. The nations are portrayed. It's also mentioned also in a couple of Psalms. We're not going to get into all that, but we will touch on one of them, okay, in this lecture. It says the nations are portrayed, now listen to this, the nations are portrayed as having their respective tutelary deities. Now that's pretty, that's pretty crazy, right? So something you need to understand, what are they referring to? Okay, they're clearly not talking about the angels in heaven, Okay, so when you hear heavenly beings, they're not always referring to the angels in heaven. You have to be very, very careful about that and understanding what that means. Okay, you have to understand what I've been trying to tell our people is that Christianity and what is going on in Christianity has nothing to do with the way of our people, the way of life, and what those people are doing in Christianity, those pagans. And I'm going to cover that too. Okay. What happened? What this is telling you? You have to understand. I didn't write this. Okay. This has been written. This is written by Gentiles. Okay. They translated this. Okay. They translated the historical records. Okay. Don't be upset with me. You know, I'm telling you, this is in the scriptures. They translated and they kept record of the history. Okay. What happened was, so you understand this, is that what happened was in the ancient world when the Most High divided, what they're telling you when the nations were divided, okay, because they don't tell you the whole story. They just say after the flood, the world was divided. What happened was when the world was divided, the Most High, he essentially, what he did was the Most High divided the nations, the lands, among the peoples, the Gentiles, the nations, and he chose one people on the face of this earth, one people on this planet for himself, and that was the children of Jacob. This is in the scriptures, so don't get upset with me. I'm telling you, okay? However, he divided the nations, okay? Yes, the nations were divided. And this helps you understand our people were not supposed to intermarry and mix with these other nations. It's telling you right here. The nations were divided. Okay? Human beings, yes, he did set up boundary lines. He divided the lands. Okay? You understand what boundaries mean? You can go look it up. Okay? Yes, the world was divided. Okay? So the Most High divided these, the lands among the nations. But the Most High does not, he didn't deal with the nations. He left the nations. He chose one people for himself, okay, and he gave them their allotted portion of land, which is a beautiful, beautiful lands, by the way. And he gave the most beautiful lands on earth, by the way, equatorial lands. Okay, we'll talk about that in a second. But the other lands that he divided among the nations, he gave to them, and he also gave them appointed guardians, okay, which were also known as the Watchers. So he left, essentially, he appointed them angels as to guard guard the nations. Meaning, he left the nations to the angels, okay. But his people, he kept close watch over and chose for himself, a people, special people. I'm just telling you, it helps you understand why Jacob really is abhorred by Christianity, why they really dislike the true children of Jacob, okay, that are living in the land. And that's what they talk about in Christianity. Okay, the original branch, our people. Now you understand why our people are dealing with what we're dealing with, because the Most High chose, out of all the inhabitants on this planet, billions of people, he chose one people for himself. And the nations, he left to the angels. Now, the question is, which angels are you talking about, right? Well, they are telling you right now. They're telling you who these angels are, okay? They're not who you think they are, okay? But he left them as guardians, okay? Now, unfortunately, they weren't doing the things they were supposed to be doing, and they got in a lot of trouble. They were known as the Watchers, and they were not doing the things. They were here to observe, the nations and to guide them. And unfortunately, they ended up misguiding them, and they got into a lot of trouble. So if you want to understand that story, you need to read the book of Enoch. I can't tell you everything if you don't know all of this by now. We all need to be studying to show ourselves worthy and approved. But that's a story that was documented in the historical writings of our people that got removed. But it helps you understand why so many of the historical records of our people, hundreds of books, got removed, because they didn't want people to know this truth. Now, if you need to understand further proof of this, let's go to another book that got removed, the book of Esdras. So if we go to the book of Esdras, remember, Esdras had a couple of books. In some of the books they kept, I believe, like I know in Catholic and Orthodox versions of their Bible, they kept the book of Esdras, the first book, but they removed the second book. But you can find it in some of the versions of the scriptures. I know in the 1611 King James version, you will find both books of Esdras, but they removed that second book, and there's a reason for that too. So let's talk about that. Well, I suspect they removed that. I mean, it's very telling. Okay, so it talks about here. Again, what do they call it? Dividing of the times. So it says, I said, and I answered and said, what will be the dividing of the times, or when will be the end of the first age and the beginning of the age that follows? And this is in the second book of Esdras, chapter 6. You're not going to find it in the Protestant version that you're reading today, but like I said, you can find it in the 1611 version, with the the version, the authorized version that got those books got removed later on. But the 1611, it's still there. You can find it online. But it says here, he said to me, and this is chapter 6, second book of Ezra, chapter 6, verse 8. It says, he said to me, from Abram to Isaac, because from him were born Jacob and Esau, for Jacob's hand held Esau's heel from the beginning. Now Esau is the end of this age, and Jacob's the beginning of the age that follows. Okay. The beginning of a person is the hand, and the end of a person is the heel. Okay, so let's stop right there. So it's telling you that Esau is the end of the world. Who's going to end up messing up? Who's going to ruin? Who's going to end this world? I mean, who's going to be the catalyst of the end of the world? It's already telling you. But Jacob already has an allotted portion in the beginning of this world and the next. Okay, so that's something they don't want to tell you. Now, here's why that's really important. Now, if you need to understand further information on this, it says, let's go down to the bottom here at verse 55. So let's talk about, it says, verse 53, on the sixth day you commanded the earth to bring forth before you cattle, wild animals, and creeping things, and over these you placed Adam as ruler over all the works that you had made. And from him we have come, the people whom you have chosen. So in other words, the children of Jacob, we are the offspring of Adam, they call Adam. We're the offspring. We are of humankind. We are the humankind. Okay, we are the humans that are left on this planet. Okay, the remnant of the humans that are left on this planet. We came from Adam. Okay, that he has chosen as his people. Now it says, okay, in this part, it says, all this I have, and this is verse 55. It says, all this I have spoken before you, Most High, because you have said that it was for us that you created this world. And as for the other, now, okay, people, I'm just reading this. Look, I'm just reading you. Look, I'm just showing you it's in the scriptures, okay? These are the writings of our people, brothers and sisters, all right? So, listen up. As for, okay, I'm going to read that again. All of this I have spoken before you, O Most High, because you have said that it was for us that you created this world. So just so you understand, the world was created for his people. See, this is something they've hidden from us. They want us to notice. He created the world for us, okay? It wasn't created for the serpent seed on this planet. It was created for us, okay? Created for us that you created this world. Verse 56, as for the other nations that have descended from Adam, you have said that they are nothing, and that they are like spittle, and you have compared their abundance to a drop from a bucket. We're going to stop right there. Okay, look, it's right there. Okay, what is that telling you? Okay, people, do you know what? Look, I don't need to tell you what that means, spittle. Okay, The nations, the Most High does not deal with the nations. He's not concerned about the nations. He's concerned about his people. Always has been. It's in the scriptures. I just read it to you. Okay? I just read it. Do you understand why this book got removed? Why they removed this manuscript? Okay, brothers. I'm just showing you. Alright, let's go a little bit further here. Now, if you still need to understand what I'm referring to, that he did not deal with the nations were left to the watchers, okay, to the angels, okay. It says, judge the earth, according to Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 8 through 9. This is the verse I just read to you, right? Not the verse in Esdras, but before that, we started with. It says, and this is from the Psalm 82. I'm not going to go into that Psalm today. Maybe I'll cover that another time, because this is also mentioned in some of the Psalms too. Further proof of all of this that has been suppressed, but I'm not going to get into all that. So, but it says here, one section in Psalm 82, verse 8. It says there's a section here that talks about judge the earth. Okay, that's mentioned in that psalm. So it just gives you the breakdown of what that means. It says, according to Deuteronomy, and that's where it's quoted, it's taken from, Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 8 through 9. Notice what they say here. It says, Israel's or Jacob's God, okay, Israel's God or Jacob's God, had originally assigned jurisdiction over the foreign nations to the subordinate deities, keeping Jacob as a personal possession. Now, the Most High will directly, our Father in heaven, the Most High will directly take over the rulership of the whole world. Okay, so what is that telling you? Okay, were they deities? No, the fallen angels were not deities, okay? But this is, again, this is the translation in Christianity because they're worshiping angels, okay? This is why you've got these, look, I ain't going to even get into it. But understand, even their name, English, where does the term English come from? Their language. All of it is predicated on fallen angels, including their father, you know who, okay? Lucifer. So, I'm just telling you, this is the Gentiles, okay? I'm just telling you what was going on in the ancient world and why when the Most High separated the nations, he chose one nation for himself because the other nations were corrupt. They were genetically corrupt as well as morally. Okay, so he wasn't concerned about those nations. He left them to those angels that he had cast out of heaven. Okay, but he chose one people for himself, and it's right here. Okay, that's why they say subordinate deities. Who are they referring to? Okay, that's why when you see that term, and you'll see that term throughout, they'll talk about the reason why they use that plural, okay, is because that's who they're worshiping to this day. Okay, and Christians are, a lot of Christians know the truth about all this, but there are some are clueless and really don't understand. They don't even know what they're reading. Okay, but hey, it's right here. I'm showing you the truth. Okay, and notice they don't say our Father in heaven, right? They don't say their God. They say Jacob's God. Okay, had originally. Did you understand? They're giving you the distinction. They're letting you know that they do not worship the same. They don't worship the Creator. They're not worshiping who our people, the children of Jacob, who we worship, which is our Father in heaven, the Most High Creator of heaven and earth. They're worshiping somebody else. That's why they use that distinction. Do you understand this? And that's why I said had originally assigned jurisdiction over the foreign nations to the subordinate ones. Okay? Angels. Keeping Jacob as a personal possession. But he looked after Jacob. But the nations, I'm just telling you, the foreign nations he left to the angels. Okay? So the Most High is concerned about his people beyond. Look, it's all here in the scripture, so don't get upset with me. I don't care. You can, these people are going to be right there all upset. Look, you need to take it up with the people who got a hold. They had no business translating our writings. Now here's the truth. Here's the proof. Here's the truth. From your own wicked scribes. Okay? You had no business translating things that you were not supposed to translate. You weren't supposed to translate our writings. It was only meant for our people. Because what happened is, truth of the matter is, now you understand why they try to keep Christians in the New Testament, and they don't want you reading through the original Testament, which is the historical records of our people. Because this is the truth that they have been suppressing. Okay? It's the truth. Seek and you shall find. It's the truth. So that's why they have hidden all this stuff. But does the Most High care about his people? Hey, to answer the question in a nutshell, I've already shown you the truth. Of course he cares. He created the world for his people. Okay? Of course he loves Jacob. It's in the scriptures. Don't get upset with me, brothers and our brothers and sisters. I'm just helping you to understand how important you are to our Father in heaven, the Most High. Yes, he cares about Jacob. He will never give up on Jacob. Okay? Because he has chosen a people. Our people. The original branch. Okay? Deal with it. The people who do not want to accept the truth, hey, don't take it up from me. You go talk to the confraternity of Christian doctrine. Your people who translate our writings of our people. They got a hold of our writings. They didn't like what it said, and they got, they didn't like what it said. So look, how look, how the Gentiles roll when they, Caucasians, when they get a hold of things, they don't like it. What do? They change it. They think they can change history. You can't change what has already been prophesied. Now, so let's talk about prophecy. Moses told us all this, right? I just read from Deuteronomy. And he continued to prophesy about the Gentiles in additional records that got removed, known as the Testament of Moses, or some call the Assumption of Moses. Now that got removed. So let's go there to one of the books that also got removed, known as the Testament or Assumption of Moses. He continued to prophesy. Okay, he also prophesied about the Gentiles further. And yeah. Well, before I go into that, let me show you one other thing. I want to show you. Oh, yeah, let's talk about that real quick. So let's go further down, brothers and sisters. So I want to talk about this too. So it says here in 28. This is chapter 32, verse 28. It goes on to say, and this is referring to the nations, brothers and sisters. So it says, for they are a nation, and this is what Moses is saying, okay? For they are a nation devoid of reason, having no understanding. This is why don't waste your time arguing with a Gentile, with a Christian, some clueless Christian that has no understanding. Don't waste your time. And these nations, these Gentiles, don't waste your time arguing with them. And by the way, our people, do you really think that Caucasians are ever going to do the right thing by you? White folks are going to do the right thing. Okay? They are a nation devoid of reason. Okay? Devoid of reason. You know what devoid means? Okay? Devoid of reason. Having no understanding. Okay? Can't reason with the nations. That's why the Most High told our people, make no treaties with the nations. No treaties with Gentiles. If they had insight, they would realize this. They would understand their end. How could one rout 1,000 or put 10,000 to flight unless it was because of their rock sold them? Notice they say, unless it was because their rock sold them. The Lord delivered them up. Now, who are they referring to there? The Lord delivered them up. They talking about somebody else. Okay? Indeed, their rock. Now, see, this is how you know they're talking about somebody else. They're not talking about who you think they're talking about. That's why I don't use that term, Lord. Because when you look at that term here, in context how they use it, they're talking about somebody else. They are not talking about our Father in heaven, the Most High. Okay? When they mistranslated our writings. Okay? So, it says, indeed, their rock is not like our rock. Did you hear that? Indeed, their rock is not like our rock. Our enemies are fools. We're talking about the nations, okay? For their vine is from the vine of Sodom. You know what happened to Sodom, right? Do you know what they mean by vine? Do you know what Moses is referring to when he talks about vine? Okay. He's talking about corruption. For their vine is from the vine of Sodom, from the vineyards of Gomorrah. Okay? Their grapes are grapes of poison, and their clusters are bitten. Their clusters are bitter. Their wine is the venom of serpents. the cruel poison of vipers. Cruel poison of vipers. So what he's telling you is, essentially, in a nutshell, they are corrupt. Okay, he's talking about genetic corruption up, here. Okay, that's why he's referring to them not just moral corruption, genetic corruption. Sodom and Gomorrah. Let's go down to let's go down to this. Let's break that down. So if we go down to 32. If you think I'm kidding you here, chapter 32, verse 28 through 35, it says it. The reference is to the nations, not to Jacob. Not to Israel, not to Jacob. So you're referring to the nations. Do you understand that? Does that make any sense to you, brothers and sisters? Okay, so just to help you to understand, that's what they're referring to. Okay? So, hey, it's in the scriptures. Now, let's talk about the further prophecies of Moses when he was referring to the nations. So if we go to one of the books, the historical records of our people that got removed, known as the Assumption of Moses, it says, and this is from Moses, okay, he prophesied about the nations. It says, this is in chapter 10, verse 7, for the Most High will arise, the eternal Most High, the eternal God, the Most High alone, and he will appear to punish the Gentiles, and he will destroy all their idols. You understand? Okay. Then thou, O Jacob, wilt be happy, and thou wilt mount upon the necks and wings of the eagle, and the days of thy mourning will be ended. And our Father in heaven, the Most High, will exalt thee. Okay? Well, now, just so you understand, let's be clear about Gentiles and what that really means. Now, you know it's nations, but they don't give you the clear understanding of what Gentiles mean. So I'm just going to further clarify when we refer, or the writings of our people refer to Gentiles, what it means. If you look in the lexicon, you can look this up yourself, the word Gentile, okay? I'm not going to get into, because it's pretty heavy. But, of course, they're not going to tell you this in the world of Christianity, but when our people refer to Gentiles, it says here, adapted to the genius or customs of a people, genius, of course, but, of course they say that, but peculiar to a people, national, suited to the manners or language of foreigners or strange. Okay, national, foreign, a Gentile. Okay, it says also, in the New Testament, savoring of the nature of pagans. This is in the New Testament when they refer to Gentiles. Savoring of the nature of pagans, alien to the worship of the true God. Heathenish, the pagan, the Gentile. And this is all in Matthew. They're quoting verses here. That's what they were referring to in Gentile. That's what Gentile means. And even in their Greek Testament, they knew what Gentiles mean. Of course, they suppressed a lot of this and said, oh, Paul was preaching to the Gentiles. Even Paul referred to them as pagans. Okay? The Paul that they, in the narrative they made up and they so love. So, now you understand what Gentiles really means. So, my question is, who are you going to listen to, my people? Are you going to continue to listen to the nations, the Gentiles that are teaching you, have taught you Christianity, knowing what it really means? Are they following the Most High's instructions? The guidelines, the way of life that he gave us, they call the law? They live in transgression. Don't talk to them about the law, because they ain't trying to hear that. No Christian's going to sit there and accept the laws. They'd rather eat swine for the rest of their lives. Okay? They don't mind transgressing. So, are you going to live the life of the heathen? Our people need to understand one thing. Do you want to be like the nations, the Gentiles? Okay? Known as the sheeple? Or do you want to be the Most High's people? So you need to decide, are you the sheeple, one of the sheeple, the Gentiles, or one of the Most High people? Wake up, Jacob. It's time. Thanks for tuning in. Please share this video with your friends, your family. Help to wake them up. Bring them out of these Baal houses and Christian, they call Christian churches. Please. Because that's what this channel is for. To wake up our people. To bring us back into the instructions of our Father in heaven and His way of life. Thanks for tuning in. May the Most High bless.